Okay, let's check out connecting nodes of life energy pattern. I'll read the heart, little description first, and then do a little bit of exploration of it. Uh, what it says is diverse life forms, especially people with diverse needs and passions, become increasingly potent as they are creatively woven together into ongoing interactivity. So weave networks and networks of intertwining networks that engage people, groups, and other lives so their dynamic shared life energy can evolve into vibrantly aware webs of experience capable of collective wisdom. So that's our ideal. Sitting behind this pattern is getting all sorts of people and potentially other life forms, which I'll talk about in a moment, woven into something that has a lot of synergy and interactivity in it and life in it. Now, most people are already familiar with the basics of networking and networks and all that. I mean, that's part of what the internet is all about. So people are very aware of that. Most of those resources are used for personal and subgroup benefits. You know, various people want to get together around something or other. There's less consciousness of the whole. So part of this pattern is going to be, how can we use the power of networks and networking to benefit the whole? And one of the key factors in this isn't just networking. This is connecting nodes of life energy. So life energy, the well-utilized life energy pattern that is later on in this pattern language, talks about different forms of life energy. Just to give you a sense, it's not just being esoteric, although that can be part of it too, but people caring, having passion about things, purposes, values, visions, needs, willingness, all the things that drive people that move people to do things. You know, they're interested in something, they move into that area and work on it. They're concerned about something, they move into that area. Compassion, they have something that draws them into taking care of someone or something because of its suffering. All these are forms of life energy, and so are the fact that we breathe in oxygen, breathe out carbon dioxide, and the plants breathe in carbon dioxide and breathe out oxygen. I mean, we're compelled to do that. You know, instincts, a form of life energy. So wherever there is some kind of life energy going on, that is a source, a resource for doing things on behalf of the whole. And if there are many entities that have life energy around things, is there a way to invite those into coordinated action, to weave them together? Very often, I'll bump into somebody and find out that they're interested in X, and I'll go, oh, I know there's somebody or some group or some article, whatever, about X you should check out. You know, I'm trying to connect up those nodes of life energy, expecting that out of that connection, something more will result. And I will tend to do that more with people whose work or ideas or passions or whatever seem to fit to me with the vision of making benefiting the long-term well-being of the whole. Most of networking by change agents, activists, is oriented towards pushing their agendas. And I know that from my own past as an activist. You know, I was a peace activist or trying to get disarmament, trying to stop wars, whatever. And you network and connect up with people, gather together to push that agenda. And the wise democracy thing is a somewhat different stance. It's like, who all is involved with the issues of war and peace? How do we bring them together so that they're life energies can evolve together into something that is more better for the, for the long-term well-being of life. So it's a different kind of consciousness. It's using the same dynamics. And part of the reason this works or could work is that the people who are involved in the Wise Democracy adventure have access to resources and know-how to help life energy move in the direction of the well-being of the whole. Getting people who are from very different perspectives around an issue together in conversations and in studies to deepen their understanding of what's going on and how they can function better together, how they can serve larger visions of their domain better. We know a lot about how to do that, and the multi-sector, multi-stakeholder, multi-scale networks. There's other patterns that talk about network governance, inclusive network governance. It's like you have food systems, people who are growing food, people who are regulating food and in its growing stages. How do you grow food? There's also regulations about that. How do you package it, sell it? All the government agencies that are around that, what makes safe food, etc. You have the people who are actually doing that, like grocery stores, the advertisers, etc. You have the consumers, you have the farmers markets, all these people who are involved, and within, it's like farmers markets will network together across boundaries of state lines. Consumer groups will be, networked together, and farmers, different organic farmers or whatever, we network together in various ways. There's a very dense web of networks around food, and there's people who are saying, let's bring people from all those networks together to talk about the functioning and sustainability and future of our food systems, all the systems that deal with food. And then if they can come to agreement about what to do, there is this tremendous alignment of life energy. These different parts of the system, these different groups and individuals who are engaged in the system, their passions to work on this, their interests to work on this are all aligned to whatever they came up with together. So the weaving of these is an active form of leadership and change agentry, rather than pushing a particular solution. There's many people in that web that you are weaving together who are pushing individual solutions. Well, set things up so they can bring that energy in with other forms of energy, so that there's a way they evolve together and can actually create something that is bigger than the sum of their parts. So there's a larger view in mind as you are connecting these nodes of life energy, but the dynamic you're doing is aligning the energy of the parts synergizes into a larger energy of by and for the whole. And it's interesting that there's an ecological dimension to this, like interdimension. When you study ecosystems, there's already tremendous amounts of life energy going on in an ecosystem, very diverse, competitive, cooperative, interdependent in so many ways. And there are people like permaculturists who study these interconnections of the energies of life, what different entities need, how different entities behave in relation to each other, and use that understanding to guide their design sensibilities. So instead of just farming the land as if the corn is just there to provide corn for us, and the land is just there to provide nutrients that we can pump into it for the corn, we go, there's a living system here. Let's create an ecosystem that can provide us with food while it is being very alive within itself. The system is being very alive. We're going to put different animals and plants and place it regarding the landscape and sunshine and rain patterns, and how do we arrange all that so that the life energy is maximized within the whole system. There's lots of life energy because the energies from these different entities and factors have been woven in a way that support each other. So it's not just people and groups and organizations that are being woven together. It is also our relationship to the larger natural world and its relationship to itself, and we have a lot that we can do to support that. So think of synergies. This is fundamentally about the synergy of life energy on behalf of the whole. And whenever you are faced with an individual entity, have the stance of, how does this fit with my energy on behalf of the whole? How does it fit with other entities? And weave those, make those links. And the more links we can do like that, the more potent the capacity of wise democracy to serve the current and future well-being of all the entities is. That's all.